This is for Sec 3, not for Sec 2. Sec 3, Sec 3. Okay, let's start. Essay first. Very quickly, huh? Essay is going to ask you about part A is either the measures. Yes, what type of measures can you do? Or they can ask you, yes, either the measures or the explain the situation. Okay, so make sure in all your things you have the main point. So if let's say they ask you about measure, we follow the PU format. Okay, so give me the main point. Okay, your P will be what is your main measure. Okay, then after that elaborate your main measure. That means you tell me more about the thing. Okay, this one comes from your own knowledge, so you have to be very specific, but it will relate to something from your test. Okay, it will be related to your test. Explain the measure. Okay, then you just explain, and when you explain, please be mindful of the outcome. That means please be mindful of what the question is asking. What is the outcome that the question is asking? Okay, if let's say the question asks you about sense of belonging, let's say, right, in your opinion, how can we strengthen sense of belonging? So you talk about main measure first. One way we can strengthen sense of belonging in Singapore, right, is to give opportunities for them to contribute in ways such as SG conversation, right? SG conversation, and all those things. So by doing all those things, how does it contribute to sense of belonging? So you must know what entitles sense of belonging, right? It's when people feel appreciated, when people feel heard, when people are united, right? When they understand more about society, right? Unity, appreciation, and the feeling of being heard when they have a stake. So all these things will help ensure that they have a stake, and hence it provides sense of belonging. So that is what I mean by explaining. Okay, so the part A question, I want to see two paragraphs with two measures, and give me proper examples after you give me the measure. Okay, for this part, in reality you can actually smoke the A. Okay, the question A, when you give your measure, you can smoke. Okay, I allow you to smoke, but make sure you smoke smartly, right? In whatever measure that you say. Okay, it depends on the question. Okay, so example, your test, right? They ask what did they ask you in your test? They ask you the crime rate, right? How can we effectively reduce the current crime rate, right? That is the question. So some of you said surveillance in the test, right? So after you say surveillance, then you can smoke out what is that surveillance. Surveillance where? You just use the 5 question: where, what, when, how, who is infected, how is it done, when is it done, what is done, where is it done. Okay, 5 questions. These 5 questions can give you a lot of details already. You just need to smoke, and smoke it well. Okay, because if they ask you a measure, probably the measure is not done yet. So you are the smart elect, you must come up with the measure. So all this will give you your elaboration. So after this, when you explain, you must link this back to the crime rate. How do you link your who, what, when, where, how to the why? Why will this reduce crime rate? Right? So you must think about what is crime rate. Crime rate, who, right, is the potential criminals. So how will surveillance reduce potential criminals? Because by surveilling, then they know the punishment. They know the punishment, they are more aware. And when they are more aware, they'll be more conscious. And when they are more conscious, they will be deterred from doing the crime. And by being deterred, that is when the crime rate in Singapore overall will fall. So that's how you do part A question. Okay, make sure you write your main point first, then elaborate your main point, at least 3 to 4 sentences with the who, what, when, where, how of your surveillance or whatever thing. Just make sure you have 2 main points. After that, you explain. Explain means you link back, look at the outcome, look at what is the outcome word that they give, and then think, what does this consist of? What does crime rate consist of, example? Or what does sense of belonging consist of? How does my factor, my example, achieve sense of belonging? Or how does my factor achieve decrease in crime rate? Can? So you are the minister. Tomorrow, it is like you are applying for a job in the government. The government wants to know your plan. Okay? So just tell the government your plan, and in order to stand out from the rest, you must explain how your plan achieves the goal. Okay? The goal of crime rate or the goal of sense of belonging or whatever goal they want you to achieve. Tell me how it is done. Okay? Now, the part B question or the second question. Okay, another thing, please don't copy the extract example. Okay, do not. The extract is meant to guide you in the example, so don't copy the extract examples. The second question is more structured. Okay, this one you cannot smoke for this. You must be very structured in the part B question. Okay, the part B question, very structured. They'll give you a statement, and they'll compare 2 factors. They'll ask you about 2 factors and how these 2 factors leads to an outcome. Then they'll ask you which one is more important. Now, the important part, you don't need to care about it first. You just give me 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph per factor. Okay? And every factor must lead to the outcome. Okay? So what have you learned in chapter 2? What is chapter 2? Chapter 2 is the good of society, right? Chapter 2 is the good of society. Okay? Now, when you talk about good of society, what do you mean good of society? Right? Everything boils down to these 2 things. Okay? No, these 2 things. Everything can be narrowed down to these 2 things. First, economic. Good of society means that there's economic prosperity. Okay? Good of society also means there is social harmony. So This is what I mean by good of society. So all your factors have to lead to these two things. Okay? What is economic prosperity? If you break it down further, economic prosperity just means jobs, right? Employment rate, jobs for people. People are being employed. Okay? What else? Government's finances. What else? Investors willing to invest. Right? All these things come under economic prosperity. Now, social harmony. What comes under social harmony? What comes under social harmony? Sense of belonging. Right? When people feel like they belong to the country, they are appreciative of the country, and they understand what it means to live in a country. When there's security, safety, right? When people's needs of the citizens are met, when people feel satisfied, people feel happy. Okay, so bear in mind these two things. For a country's outcome, it boils down to economic prosperity or social harmony. Yes, you can make an argument for a third one, which is political awareness. This one means people are more have a stake. People are more aware of who they are in the grand scheme of things. People are more concerned citizen. Means they are more participative. They are not just there. They are there to be willing to help a country to grow. So they have political awareness. So these three things: economic, social, and political. And break it down is all these sub points. Okay? So what is chapter 2 talking about? Wait, don't talk about participation, all these things first. First, you must understand the outcome of all this participation and everything. The outcome is economic prosperity, social harmony, and political awareness. And you must know how to explain what are these three things, which I just break it down for you already. Can? So chapter 2 talks about how we can achieve good of society, right? So it talks about government role. Can? So a question can come out like this: is the government or is the individual more important to contribute towards good of society? Example question. Example, government or individual. So you have two factors here. One factor, the government. Second factor, individual. In contributing, building to good. So can you see now? What do I mean by good of society? What is the outcome? The outcome is all these things: prosperity, harmony, awareness. PHA. So you just talk about government. What are you going to talk about? You can talk about many things, right? Well, what the government does. Yes, so what does the government do? The government does things like internal, security, right? Internal, external security. So you have to know what's SAF, what's RSAF. You just choose some, RSAF. Or internal wise, civil defense, SCDF, prison, Singapore Prison Services, right? The drugs one, Anti-Narcotic Bureau. So all these things are choose and tell me in detail what exactly do they do. Yes, again, the who, what, when, not when, who, what, where, how. How do they protect our security? All these things are SCF, RSCF, MFA. All these things in your textbook, everything. Yes, please tell me. Yes, please tell me all these things. And then after you tell me all these things, then you tell me how all these things leads to either this, or this, or you can do both, Okay, because this means goods of society. When people have social harmony, prosperity, political awareness. When country is safe, protected, people will be willing to invest in the country. When you invest in the country, you have more money, right? You have more money to build more things, to create more jobs for people. Employment will go up, finances will go up, and hence there will be economic prosperity. When you have security, people will feel safe, right? People will start a family here because they know it's safe, right? They'll be satisfied and happy, and hence there'll be harmony in society because everybody is safe. People know that the laws are there to protect them. Okay? So the judiciary also, you must know, judiciary system. So this is one way, internal and external security. Next way is the needs of citizens. Yes, the goods and services. So you have things like transport. You have things like what else? Roads, which is part of transport actually. You have things like malls. Basically, the main idea is transport. Okay, by providing all this transport, then you tell me the who, what, when, where, how. The 5 questions again. What about transport? Right? What type of things will they provide? What type of things will government provide in terms of transport? Right? Let's see. Yes. So then when you want to explain the outcome, you link it back to here. How does providing transport for people lead to either this, or this? Yes, lead to either economic, social, or political awareness. Yes. So that's for needs. Okay. Yes. So yes. Okay, that's for needs. Now what's the third one? The third one is safeguarding citizen interests. Yes, this one is more of taking care of citizens' well-being, right? So things like the CPF, the Work Right Initiative. Okay, all these examples are who, what, when, where, how. CPF, what does CPF do? How does CPF protect people? What does Work Right do? How does Work Right protect people? So as such, all these things, CPF and Work Right, what does it do? How does it lead to these 3 things, these 3 big ideas of economic prosperity, social harmony, political awareness? So you must explain everything clearly. And this is very big, the investors thing. Okay, explain everything clearly and link it to these 3, one of these 3 things, or 2 of these 3 things, or 3 of these 3 things, whichever fits perfectly. Your example must fit into 1 or 2 or 3, or you can write all. If you can find a link to write all, can. So that's for government. So for citizen, very simple. Citizen, individual can volunteer. right? Volunteer, you can volunteer individual or groups, you can volunteer, right? Then you must know some places, maybe SPCA, mines, you must know exactly what did they do. Again, the 5 questions: who, what, when, where, how. Who, what, when, where, how. What does SPCA do? What does mines do? Okay. Then you have also things like a little at a time, because under the groups you have the formal and informal, right? So informal will be those that are not under the VWO or NWO, NGO or VWO. They are by themselves. They are self-initiated. So things like a little at a time, SGH rescue. Okay, but if you talk about formal groups, then you talk about the SPCA, the mines, the Rainbow Connection. What else? All those things. Mercy, Relief, Nature Society, mines. All these things. Can? So, then you need to explain how does all these things link to this again: economic prosperity, social harmony, political awareness. Which one? Which one? Either they will ask you good or the outcome can be either be good of society, or the outcome can be specifically economic prosperity, social harmony, awareness, or they can even make it down specifically to sense of belonging. So you need to check what is the outcome they want you to write. If they just say sense of belonging, then you just need to break it down to sense of belonging. If they say good of society, then you can choose either one, or you can write all is the best. If they say economic prosperity, then you talk about how all these things provide jobs for people, increase finances, make investors willing to invest. Yes, link it to these 3 big ideas. What else? Individuals, groups. Yes, individuals, groups, mines, mercy, relief. That is how citizens contribute to the needs of society. Yes, this is contributing to the needs. So what's the other big idea they talk about? Is the influencing government decision. Okay, this one, the big thing is reach. Yes, your reach, which is the political avenue for people to comment and give feedback to the government. And second thing is the SG conversation. So just know about 3 lines, 3 to 4 lines of this thing, details. What is it? What did they do? Okay, ask yourself the 5 questions again. What they do, blah 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 blah. And through all these things, how does all these things lead to these big ideas again? Economic, social, political. It's always, everything will link back to these 3 things. Okay? Make sure you know how to explain and link it. Either they ask you the big idea, good of society, or they ask you the minor idea, which is this, or sense of belonging, or economic prosperity. Okay? Yes. So that is for influencing government decisions. And then what else? The last one, sense of belonging. Yeah, same thing. Okay. So that's that. Linking back to the big 3 ideas. But this factor can also be an outcome. Example, they ask you, are individuals or groups more important in influencing government decision? Then this becomes your outcome. So you need to know which has the bigger impact. Is it individuals or is it government in influencing the government decision? What does influence government decision means? That means you actually give good contributions, have weight, have value, that can improve the lives of whoever you are impacting. Okay, that is how you explain if that is a factor. But more or less, most of the time, the factors will go down to these 3 things. Okay. Can political awareness be linked to citizens doing good and volunteer, which is the concern citizen subpoint, or isn't political awareness only can be overseas? Yes, it can be linked to awareness at home as well, awareness of the needs of society, right? When you volunteer, that's when you're aware that there are gaps in society that need to be filled. Yes, so volunteering helps you be more aware of these gaps. Okay, when you're more aware of these gaps, then you'll be more motivated to want to for change, or to contribute to help meet these needs so that society can progress as a whole. So you're more politically aware, as in you're more involved in giving feedback to the government. You're more involved in helping the government to understand the needs of people. Yes. So doesn't need to be overseas. It can be local as well. Or SG conversation. When you go there, you talk with other people. You help to discuss about the issues facing society. You become more concerned citizen, more aware, and you start to become more involved. And a country that has citizens that are more involved is a country that will succeed. Zero mark is purpose. It is part of SPQ. So this is for essay. So I hope you're clear on your essay. Either this or they give you chapter 1. Chapter 1, that means leadership. Chapter 1 is what? Good leadership. So they can ask you the factors. Is anticipating change and staying relevant a more key factor of good leadership? A more key factor to the success of a country, to the development of a country, than good leadership. So then this becomes your factor, and the outcome links back to this again. Even chapter 1, the outcome still links back to this. Good leadership. Is good leadership better, or is anticipating change, or is meritocracy better in leading to the success of a country? What do you mean by success? I mean economic prosperity, social harmony, political awareness. Everything links back to this thing. Okay? That's for question 2. That's why you must be very structured. You must know your examples. You must give 3 to 4 lines details regarding your example. You must give me 2 paragraphs, and then you must explain and link it back to these 3 things. Okay, for part A, when they ask you for the measures and all these things, you can smoke. You can give me a measure, but make sure you elaborate your measure. What do you mean by surveillance? What do you mean by making people go NDB or participate in CCA? How does it link to sense of belonging? Right? So you just need to be very clear and close all gaps. Make sure the marker will not write this word explain or vague. Make sure that the marker, that means your answer must be very clear, defined, detailed, and detailed, such that the marker will not say something is vague, something is not on point, something is not explained well. Okay. Yes. Hello, Fazit. How's life, Fazit? Are you in poly now? Because it's for the SBQ. You want to do 2 essays. 2. 1 7 mark is in your opinion, this one you can smoke. And the next one is the 8 mark one, which give you 2 factors, and this one you cannot smoke. This one you must be structured, you must know your example. Clearly know your examples. So 7 plus 8. This 7 marks, okay, as long as you give me a main point and some details for both factors, but you never explain, you will still get 4 marks. Okay? Here, same thing. So you explain 1, you'll get 5 to 6. Yes, for 1 explain. So if you don't have time, just do 1 nice paragraph, explain it well, you can achieve 5 to 6 marks already. Can? Can? Need to talk about SBQ. Need to talk about SBQ. Okay, I just do it very quickly. Any more essay question? Yeah, so essay is like this. That's all. That's all. I've said everything about essay. I've said everything about essay. Just make sure you link to the 3 outcomes, which is these 3 things. Okay, for SBQ, read the issue. SBQ, because you have no idea what type of issue is going to come out. Make sure you read it carefully. Read the background. What are you looking for in the background? Okay, you're looking for what are the perspectives. Okay, the issue will be a yes or no thing, right? Like water price increase, like crime rate, like belonging, citizens participation, like nimblism, like is it prevalent, is it not, is it yes, no. So look at the perspectives. Why did people say yes? Why did people say no? Okay, each source will have one perspective on this thing. So you just need to find out. So for every inference that you make, okay, every inference you must link to the issue. That means what is the stand? What is the stand that this source makes as a whole, the whole source? What is the perspective and what is the reason for his perspective? Why does this guy feel that nimblism still exists? Okay, these 3 things must be in your own words. It's not a copy. Okay, so that's for inference. So for purpose will usually be either the government will say something or the opposition will say something. So your job is to find out what is the message. Before you do the message, think about the context. That's why you must read the background information. It gives you the context. What is the government aware of what? What about the audience? Audience perception that the government is aware of. Okay, can be the people are unhappy about something, right? That's why the government needs to step in and say something. Okay? So after you write the context, because he's aware that people are unhappy about blah 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 blah, then you write the message. So the message is the perspective. So you do not want people to continue to have this concern. So what do? You convince them. Convince them that, okay, your stand, what is your stand and why your stand is valid. You cannot just say you should do this. You must tell me why. Tell the people why you believe that you are right. Why is your view the right view? Tell me the thing. Okay, then give me the evidence, explanation, and then give me the outcome. Which is after you have convinced me that your perspective is the right perspective, what is the outcome? What do you want to achieve? And most of the time it is for citizens to support the government's stand, right, on this issue, on what issue. Okay? And when you're writing the convince statement, please write because. Okay, because you want to convince Singaporeans. Okay, be very specific in your audience. Be very strong in your action verb. And then Right, because. So that is for the purpose question. Okay, that is for the purpose. And lastly is the comparison. Okay, comparison, the criteria is the key thing. Okay, look at the issue. The difference will either, okay, the source will either have similar opinion on the issue, and that is your similarity, or they will have different opinion on the issue, and that is your difference. Okay, so make sure you have the CSI when you investigate things. You must be very clear. Example, nimblism. So both are similar in telling me that Singaporeans display nimblism. Okay, so your subject is here. Yes, what is your criteria? Your criteria is whether they display or not, right? Okay, and then what is your inference? Your inference is implied that Singaporeans, yes, they do display nimblism. So A says blah 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 blah, blah meaning this, and then similarly, please write the word similar in your answer. B says the meaning, okay, for different, slightly different, both are different. You write with regards to what? To Singaporeans' display of nimblism. Yes. So you have the subject here, Singaporeans. You have the criteria, is whether they display nimblism or not. Do not say they are different with regards to nimblism, then you don't have the subject. Or you say they are different with regards to Singaporeans, then you don't have the criteria. So you must have criteria and difference. After this, topic sentence first, inference statement. A, you tells me, yes, Singaporeans display nimblism. Okay, then evidence, explain. Then, however, B tells me, again, use the same criteria and the same subject. Singaporeans do not display nimblism. Why? Because then onwards, what, they're kind to each other or whatever, they accept the other kind of facilities or something like this. Hence, the topic sentence must be there. Okay, and make sure that you are broad on the issue, but yet you are specific on the issue. So broad and specific to the what exactly about the issue, but you must also be broad to the issue. That's how you be detailed. Okay, my final words to you: be as detailed as possible. Okay, read your answers after you're done and check, are there anywhere that things are vague or anywhere that things are not explained well? Any gaps you can close all the gaps. Okay, you must check your answer again. Don't just write and blabber on. Okay, please do not be fake, be very detailed. Do not leave everything in your own words, and close all the gaps. Okay, make sure you must imagine that you are a government official. You are working for the government, right? When you want to propose an idea, when you want to propose anything, You need substance in your proposal. You must close every single gap. Don't give the interviewer any chance at all to ask you questions that can narrow your explanation. So be very detailed. Okay? That's all I want to say. Detailed. Okay? SS is all about you as an active citizen contributing to society and your ideas on how you can do it, how you can do these things, right? And how you can analyze sources, do your research well, so that you can help society improve. So cut out all the vague things, okay? This is good for your life next time when you go out and work. When you want to propose something to your boss, make sure that you have substantial evidence and you explain the evidence well. That is when your boss will accept your idea. Okay? Even in your CCA or whatever thing. So this is what SS is training you to do. It's training you to know how to write proposals properly, such that it's convincing enough for people to accept the idea. Okay? Look at the provenance. Provenance, very important. Okay? That's all. 45 minutes, just nice. "45 minutes, just nice." You should be able to do it well. Okay, any last questions? Any last questions? Any last questions? Any last questions? Not eating, drinking water. Okay, so have fun tomorrow. The people here, I expect that this is not a waste of time. So I expect you to get a B at least for the people here, because you're loyal enough to forego your mathematics in order to help improve your SS. So it's a good choice, because so please get a B for me, okay? Get a B. I want to have average 4. My average aim is 4 for the class. B4. B4. Please give me this B4. This is my dream. This is your dream as well. Make it happen. Make the dream, turn the dream into a reality. Okay, if no one fail, that's the dream also. Nobody fail. Everybody get B4. Okay. Okay, no question. I end here. If you are not clear on anything, you can replay this video. Yeah, I believe this video will be posted up and you can replay it. And those who have not here also can watch it as well. Okay. Yes, Thanos demands your distinction. In time, you will know what it's like to get distinction, to feel so desperately that you are right, and to know that you are right, and you will achieve that distinction. Okay? So please, do well.